Yo, what's going on, y'all? Nick here, coming to you with another video. So, you guys, y'all see the title. We're gonna be talking about gaslighting, especially how gaslighting is literally all around you, all around you. Yep, you heard that correct. You know, when I first heard the term gaslighting, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit turned off because I was seeing people use it all over social media. And I was beginning to think to myself, like, I think people are probably weaponizing it. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people were using it so much. I was just like, ain't no way, the gaslighting truly occurs all those damn times, right? But then I started looking into it and I started realizing to myself, like, nah, I actually think, gaslighting actually is more prevalent than we may know or we may think. I'm gonna give you a perfect example, all right? So I'm just gonna actually go into just some basic understanding of what gaslighting is, all right? Just for us to actually be edified. So let's actually look into this, all right? Let's actually look into this real quick. So gaslighting, a subtle form of emotional manipulation that often results in the recipient doubting their perception of reality and, and their sanity. Check this out, y'all. Check out what I'm actually saying to y'all. Gaslighting is a form of manipulation where the victim or the recipient, as this, draft or this picture is showing, the recipient starts to doubt their perception of reality. And I want you to stick around because I'm actually going to give you guys a bunch of examples of gaslighting. But this is the reason why gaslighting is extremely dangerous, right? Whenever or wherever there is an imbalance of power, right? Meaning that there's some level of authority and somebody is underneath that authority, the potential, I'm not saying it always happens, I'm saying the potential of gaslighting can exist. There's an imbalance of power. Gaslighting can exist. I want you guys to understand this, right? Because a lot of times, and the reason why this is important is because there are people who actually engage in forms of gaslighting, and they don't even know. That's how prevalent it is in society today. There are relationships. You have the husband and a wife. Now, traditionally, we live in societies, if you want to call it patriarchy or whatever the case may be, traditionally, the man has a certain level of authority over the wife. And the man can say all day that he loves his wife, but if this man causes her to doubt her perception, like, the wife might actually notice the husband doing something and he may minimize what she sees. You don't know what you're talking about. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. A lot of husbands actually engage in this. And again, this is why it's important to study it out. This is important to study out because a lot of men, again, you may not even be trying to do this purposely, but you might even engage in certain behavior and mannerisms where you're gaslighting your own wife. We have in modern societies where there's a role reversal and the woman could be, have a very Jezebel spirit. Gaslighting can still occur. She may operate in such a way where she undermines her husband, right? And when the husband feels a certain way about it and tries to question her about it, she actually, makes him doubt himself. Like, I never said that. I'm telling you, stick around, because I'm going to expose a lot of this the level of gaslighting. Right? I want to actually read another one for you guys. All right? This one is deep. This hear me out, y'all. Check this out. What is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a form of manipulation that occurs in abusive relationships or groups. Abusive relationships or groups. It is an insidious and sometimes covert type of emotional abuse. You see, I think that's a good point. Let me stop right here real quick. Notice they said it's covert. You see, people that engage in gaslighting is never in your face. They again, the whole point of gaslighting is almost to kind of put a smoke screen, so because it can't be too blatant. If it's very blatant, then the people that engage in gaslighting, they will be found out. They will be found out. So they have to be covert. They have, and again, the sad thing is that sometimes people are absolutely aware that they gaslighting, and sometimes it's just done by nature because we all been born. A majority of us are in a society where gaslighting is so commonplace. I'll give you a perfect example, right? You might have a situation where you're just hanging out with your boys, right? Or girls, right? It don't even matter. You're hanging out with your peers, all right? Let's call it that. You hang out with your peers and they say something that probably offends you, right? And in the process of you simply addressing that, the thing that was said, it kind of offended you. You know what they're going to say now? This is what they end up saying. They're going to end up saying, man, don't be too sensitive. Nah, it was just a joke, right? They diminish how you feel. That's also gaslighting. You see, I'm trying to show you these examples because I'm trying to show you how prevalent it is. I'm trying to show you how prevalent it is. Like, it's literally all around us, right? But let's actually keep going, y'all, because there's some more stuff we got to dive into. All right? So it is an insidious and sometimes covert type of emotional abuse where the bully or abuser makes the target question their judgment and reality. Ultimately, the victim of gaslighting starts to wonder if they are losing their sanity. They wonder if they are losing their sanity. Do you know how deceptive that is? I'll give you a perfect example, right? I, I I'll give you a perfect example. Some of you guys may diminish this, but this actually happens, right? Some of you are parents, right? Listen to me carefully. Some of you are parents, and you may have a child who experience an object in the room moving without any logical reasoning. Now, depending on your level of spirituality, right? Depending on the level of spirituality that you may have, guess what? You may actually, if you're not very spiritual at all, you might actually tell your child, man, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And you might not even phrase it this way. Oh, Billy, that didn't happen. There's no such thing as ghosts, right? You may totally diminish what that child done saw. And some of you, if you're not spiritual, you might just check out right now. But for those of you who probably understand that the spiritual realm is very real, your child saw something and you diminish what they saw. And now you try to make them feel like, oh, they're insane. And again, this is what's so crazy about this form of gaslighting because it's not overt. You're not gonna say to your child that they're insane. You're not gonna tell your child they're crazy. No, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna reflect and be like, damn, am I imagining things? I mean, maybe this thing didn't just fall off the counter. Maybe this object didn't just move by itself. So what the hell is actually going on? And they go on questioning their whole reality. You just invited a demon in your house. That's what I'm saying. So some of y'all don't even realize how prevalent you guys engage in gaslighting. But like I said, in any relationship where there is an imbalance of power, right? Again, I'm not saying all relationships where there's an imbalance of power, gaslighting takes place, but I'm saying the potential is there. You see, what we need to understand is that I'm actually hoping that with this video right here, for those of you who actually are genuine, kind people, that maybe you may reflect on how you listen to others when they actually expressing a concern. Maybe you shouldn't be so quick to diminish what they actually are feeling or perceiving, because to them it may be very much real. And rather than you shooting down what they then saw or what they perceive, how about you actually try to understand where they're coming from, right? I'll give you another perfect example. You could take even something as simple as a normal relationship, right? Check this out. You might have a normal relationship with a man and a woman. And let me know if you write down in the comments if you guys can relate, right? You probably was hanging around with your man or your girl, and you probably look over to their phone and you saw a man, or you saw somebody texting your woman or your man, right? Check that out. Check this out. And you know what tends to happen, especially for a man, right? Because jealousy is a rage of man, right? But especially for a man, if you see your woman and you see another man, you see a man's name pop up on your girl's phone, and they texting your woman, and then you question the woman like, man, who's that? And now they start to say, man, you so jealous, you so insecure. They throw those terms at you. Man, ain't nobody texting me. And then here you are. This is the crazy part, right? You because she threw the term out there, the word insensitive, or I'm sorry, insecure. Because she threw that word out there, no man wants to seem insecure. No man wants to seem jealous. So now what you do is you say, you know what, let me just relax. Let me calm down. Maybe I'm tripping. So now guess what happens, right? Behind the scenes now, because you didn't actually call her, right? She could very well block that dude's name. She could go on her phone and change the dude's name and turn it into a girl. I'm telling you, this stuff happens. This stuff happens. So then she hits you with this. Oh my gosh, I'm not talking to nobody here. Check my phone. And you check her phone and you don't see no dude's name. Because she had probably already done either deleted the message or she changed the dude's name into a guy's name. And now all of a sudden you're looking at it like, damn man, maybe I'm tripping. Gaslighting. Gaslighting. I'm telling you, it's so prevalent. It's all around us, y'all. That's a form of gaslighting, right? Let's keep going. Let's check this out, right? It works. I'm in the last paragraph. It works much better than you may think. Anyone is susceptible to gaslighting, and it is a common. That's what I want you guys to understand. It is a common. It's not uncommon, y'all. It is a common technique of abusers, dictators, narcissists, cult leaders. It is done slowly so the victim doesn't realize how much they've been brainwashed, right? It's done slowly. You see, that's one of the worst ways to feel like you're losing yourself. You see, if you've been gaslit by an individual, and these individuals, especially if they're very crafty in the art of gaslighting, like I said, it's not gonna be in your face. They're gonna do it extremely slow. And it's gonna be over a long period of time. I got another one I want to share to you because this one I think really hits home. I want to share this with y'all, right? Check this out. All right, what is gaslighting? Gaslighting is a specific kind of emotional abuse that involves simultaneous attempts to convince a person of something untrue while also suggesting that they are wrong, crazy, or not seeing things clearly. Beyond normal persuasion, gaslighting is the intentional act of misleading someone and using manipulative or deceptive tactics to undermine their perception of reality. In relationships, gaslighting is usually a recurrent pattern of behavior aimed, check this out, I need y'all to pay attention, y'all. Please pay attention, y'all. It's usually a recurrent pattern of behavior aimed at breaking down a person's ability to criticize, question, or challenge the other person now and in the future. boy. Check that one out. So you see, have any of y'all, please put it in the comments, y'all. Have any of y'all ever felt like y'all been just beaten down? You're in a relationship, and again, this relationship, it could be platonic, it could be just amongst friends, it could be I guess, a sexual relationship. It don't really matter. It could be a relationship between a boss and the employees. It could be a teacher and the students. Yeah, teachers do this all the time. If you have a student, how many of y'all knew those students that would always ask questions in the class? Oh yeah, that's one of I was a teacher. I was a teacher. So I know the psychology of teachers when they have that one student that always like asking questions. Oh, but I don't understand this. Oh, but I don't, how can you explain this? Teachers don't like that. So you know what a teacher might do that's a form of gaslighting? They might discredit the student and say, oh man, you always asking questions. Now, now think about that statement and how crazy it is. You in school to learn, right? Think about what I'm telling you guys. You go to school with the intent to learn something, but you're gonna try to make a student feel bad for asking questions. What the hell? Gaslighting. So now the student goes on in life thinking to themselves like, damn, maybe I shouldn't be asking so much questions. How many of you guys know you probably was that student that because you probably been beaten down before psychologically by previous teachers. Now when you enter a classroom, you dare not even ask a question because you don't want to seem stupid. You don't want to seem slow. Come on, let's be real. Sometimes you might even have a teacher that even openly exposes what you're dealing with. They says, please, someone ask a question. You might have another classmate that has a similar question as you. The teachers might go as far as to say, there's no such thing as a stupid question, right? Just so that they can have some engagement in the class. But because you have been beaten down so bad over a process of time, you dare not ask questions. I'm telling you guys, gaslighting exists in so many different forms. So many different forms. But I notice what it says for the end is designed to break down. It's aimed at breaking down a person's ability to criticize, question, or challenge. That's a big one. Challenge the other person now and in the future. You see, what you need to understand, y'all, check this out. What you need to understand is that people who engage in gaslighting, a lot of times, they do not want you to question their authority. I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say a husband and a wife, right? And this is why, again, I hope you guys actually really pay attention to how dangerous gaslighting could be. Because, like I said, in any relationship where there's an imbalance of power, the imbalance of power is not necessarily wrong, right? Not everybody can be equal in a particular relationship. Like, for example, within a parent and a child, of course, the parent should have more power, right? The parent is the one that's provided for the child. Imbalance of power is not the issue. The issue is how the person can misuse and abuse the imbalance of power, and one of that form of abuse is the gaslighting that we're talking about, right? But you could have a husband and a wife, and a husband. You get what I'm saying? A wife is always trying to please a good wife. A good wife is gonna try to please her husband. So what happens if a husband is constantly saying, "Man, I don't like when you keep asking, questioning me. Don't you know I love you?" Right? So the wife may have some genuine concerns because she's like, "I don't understand why this husband has certain behavior. He might be very, belligerent, or he get angry." And the wife is generally asking, "Hey, babe, I don't, can we get some help? Why are you always questioning me? Damn, woman, don't you know I love you? Why you always?" And then he starts spazzing out on this woman, right? And now this woman is like, "Man, I'm not trying to, get my husband upset. I'm not trying to, displease my husband." So now guess what happened? Now she starts, she's going to, what was the word they used? What's the word they used? They said it breaks down the person. Yeah, there you go. That's what it does. It breaks down that person. So now that wife would never dare to ever question her husband ever again. Even though, mind you, a wife, sometimes you might need listen to what I'm saying, guys. Look, and I'm not pandering to women. Listen to what I'm saying, man. I'm not pandering to the women. But some of you guys are so damn toxic, you can't even listen to your wife, even though she's a help me. She might genuinely be trying to help you, but you so toxic in your masculinity, you would never dare to actually try to listen to your wife. And then you gaslight her to death, and now she doesn't even dare try to question you. She wouldn't even dare try to question you. You actually shot yourself in the foot, man, husband. You shot yourself in the foot. Because the one person that actually probably cares about you more than anybody else in the world, now they can't question nothing that you do. Yo, it's crazy. I see thoughts from Baz, 100. Yeah, exactly. This is straight up facts. I've seen it happen so many times. There's so many forms of gaslighting that occurs. Can you imagine you have a bunch of women that hang around each other, right? Going back to the peer pressure, right? And you might see me jump into different examples, and I'm doing it purposely because I'm trying to show you how prevalent gaslighting is in society as a whole. You might have how many of you guys can relate to this, right? You have a bunch of women. Um, in this particular stage, 9 times out of 10, they're pretty young, right? This one girl in the group might be a virgin, and she's probably with a bunch of friends who already done hold themselves out, became thoughts, you name it, right? And this girl, the virgin, she might have genuine concerns being with a man because she feels like this man is only trying to be with her because he's trying to swipe the V card. He's only there with her because he's trying to get in between those legs. And now guess what takes place, right? Even though she's addressing some of these concerns with her friends are just like, man, what's the matter with you? What, right? The moment those friends go ahead in that direction, start criticizing this virgin woman, the moment they start doing that and try to make it seem as if she is somehow weird, try to make it seem as if somehow she is confused for even dare trying to preserve her virginity. That's a form of gaslight. That's a form of gaslight. Again, y'all might not see it that way, but that's exactly what it is. You see, because like I said, this person, you are minimizing what they are generally thinking about, they're generally concerned about. I'll give you a perfect example, right? I wanted to show you this. Because this part right here, I think this is my fault, y'all. My fault, y'all. I really want to show y'all this real quick, right? So right here, we're going to see the different forms of gaslighting that actually exist, right? And I really want you to really home in on this because I think this is going to be the icing on the cakes, if you want to use that term, right? So check this out. The first thing is denial. And notice the example that it uses. It says, that never happened. Check this out, y'all. That never happened. So that goes right back to that texting situation I told you guys about, right? You're with somebody, you probably, you know damn well you saw someone text them and they hit you with, nah, that never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. And now you start questioning yourself as gaslighting. You have a child, like I said earlier on in the video. They saw something move. They felt like something was moving, in the room. And you probably are you probably not even a good parent. And what do I mean by that? You probably only care about your sleep. So you probably are knowing that your child is actually even waking you up in the first place. You probably want them to go right back to bed. Nothing moved in your bed, child. Just go to sleep. Nothing happened. You see, you minimizing what they're doing. Matter of fact, let's actually jump. I don't know if you can see my fingers. Let's actually jump to this one right here, right? What it says there. Minimizing. You are overreacting, right? And you could go back to denial. That never happened. You see how they're all intertwined? So you as a parent, because you prioritize your sleep so much, you don't give two shits about your child and what they probably saw move in their room, you just want to go back to sleep. So to shut that child up, you say, man, that never happened. You're overreacting. There's no such thing as this. There's no such thing as that. Right? That child is going to know damn well what they saw. But you just want to go back to sleep. Gaslighting. Gaslighting. Look at this one in the middle, right? Shift blame. It's all your fault. Man, can you think about that one? Shift blame. Can you think about why I'm saying this? Matter of fact, for those of you who actually even know your Bible, can you imagine that Adam, right? The Most High came down, spoke to Adam, and say, what has thou done? Mind you, he's asking Adam what he did. And then he said, it's the woman you gave me. So he should blame it on Eve. So can you imagine that gaslighting actually existed even in the garden? Gaslighting existed even in the garden. This is what I'm saying. This is how prevalent this form of manipulation is. It's so ancient. That's what I'm saying. A lot of us, myself included, you might actually engage in subtle forms of gaslighting and you probably don't even know it because it's so embedded in society. You probably take it for granted, some of the forms of manipulation that you use, some of the tactics that you use, because it's so embedded in our subconscious mind. But shift blaming is a form of gaslighting. It's a form of gaslighting. Because the question is it truly that individual's fault? Is it? Right? Like, could you imagine if a husband is dealing with a wife, and I know I keep using that example. Matter of fact, it could be the other way around. Matter of fact, I'll use it. If a wife is very abusive to her husband, right, and she's here always, putting her hands on her husband, right, always putting her hands on her husband, and the husband's like, "What are you doing?" Right? And she's like, "Oh man, it's your fault. You don't understand because you're always doing blase, right?" And the husband's looking at her like, "What the hell? Oh, we need some counseling because it's your fault. This is the reason why I'm acting this way." And now, if you women actually made your man think it was his fault for you putting your hands on him, man, not only are you a Jezebel, but that's straight up gaslighting. That's what I'm saying. This is a topic. Who's gonna admit that though, right? Look at this one right here, right? If you go to the left, and you go to the second one, that says withholding. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. How many of you guys used that one before? I don't know what you're talking about. You probably knew damn well what they were talking about. You probably knew damn well what that individual was talking about, but to manipulate them, to make them question themselves, I don't know what you're talking about. Man, I'm going to throw myself in the sun. Man, I must have used that line a million times, especially when I was younger. Especially if I was younger. I probably took a piece of food that belonged to one of my brothers, and they asked me, "Yo, Nick, where this at?" I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And now they probably looking at it like, "Damn, man, I asked everybody, I asked everybody in the house who took the food, and everybody said they don't know what you're talking about. So did I actually have this piece of food? Maybe I ate it already." And now they start questioning themselves. I'm telling you guys, it's so this form of manipulation is so crafty, it's so covert. We engage in it all the time. If you go to the next one, besides withholding, it says countering. You never remember things correctly. Wow. Think about that one. You never remember things correctly. Matter of fact, I'm going to actually read the next one next to it because I'm going to show you how interconnected they are. Notice what it says. The next one next to countering says discredited. Everyone thinks you are crazy. Now, why am I reading both of them together? If anybody knows anything about logical fallacies, you would have heard the term ad hominem. You see, now, rather than sticking to the point of the topic, right, sometimes it could be a debate. What you do is you resort to personal attacks. That's called ad hominem. In this case, though, if you're discrediting somebody, right? Mind you, I'll give you a perfect example, right? I want to ask you guys a question. Is it possible that somebody who was wrong in the past, listen to what I'm telling you carefully, is it possible that somebody that was wrong about something in the past to be right or correct about something in the present? Now, you probably listening to that question, you probably might be like, damn, why are you asking such a basic question? Well, I got to. Because if it's so basic and the answer is yes, it is absolutely possible for you to be wrong about something in the past, but you might be right about something in the present. It's absolutely possible. I mean, that's majority of all of us, especially as we're grown up. How much things we were wrong about in our youth. And now as you get older, you got the right information. But what's my point? If you're dealing with somebody who's trying to gaslight you, they might say something like this, right? Everyone thinks you're crazy. Oh, you always had things wrong in times past. You always used to get this wrong, right? What's the correlation? think about what I'm telling you guys here. What's the correlation between what I got wrong in times past and what we're discussing in the present, right? Like if I, yo, you guys, check this out, man, because this thing, y'all really got to understand how this works. Check this out. Say if you're dealing with somebody, this is your partner, right? And this man, maybe he was texting somebody else, right? Let's say I'm just using this example. This man was texting another woman, right? And the woman, his girl, is saying that, yo, who were you texting? And he legitimately, listen to what I'm telling you. He legitimately was just texting his friend. You know what's so conniving about these individuals who gaslight? Because you literally don't even understand that you gave them all the leverage they need to use that against you for the rest of your life. The fact that you were wrong about that one thing, you know what could take place in the future? Now this man legitimately is talking to another woman. And you see it clear as day. You see the woman's name popping up on the text. And he say, man, who are you talking to? Right? And this man hits you with, man, this is the same thing that happened last time. I told you I'm just texting my friend. You see what he did there? Do you see in this example what that person just did there? So they took the fact that you were wrong about a situation in times past. Listen to what I'm telling you. They took a situation that you were wrong about in times past, and they used that against you in the present, even though you were right. You see, this is what I'm saying. To the narcissist, right? To the person that wields power unjustly, to the person that is above you in authority, right? But again, they using it in a corrupt manner. The fact that they caught you wrong in times past, you gave them all the leverage they need to use that against you for the rest of your life. And the question is that fair? Absolutely not. But it doesn't matter to those individuals. All they care about is control. It don't matter to those individuals, right? So going back to countering, you never remember things correctly. You see how they go back to the past? And who condemns you for your past anyway? Think about that question. Who do you know that would try to condemn you for your past, if not Satan himself? You see, this is what I'm trying to get you to understand. This is a very satanic, this is a very devilish way to manipulate people. And all forms of manipulation is devilish, to be quite honest. But let's check out the last one on this column. It's called deflection. Look what it says. It says, what about the time you did X? You see, look at that. Notice what they did again. You see how they go to the past again? What happened to the time you did X? You see how they did that? Do you see how that individual just did that? So they took the fact that you made a mistake, some way, shape, fashion, or form. Matter of fact, I'll give you a perfect example, right? Going back to the form of the relationship, could you imagine if a woman, right, and man, you see, some of you guys, y'all so immature when y'all deal with these women. Y'all really are. I'll give you a perfect example. Could you imagine a woman with very, I guess, I guess sexually liberated past, right? That's the best way I'm gonna put it. Maybe they didn't make the best choices and decisions in times past in terms of the people they slept with, right? Now, with that being said, should you condemn an individual because of their sexual past? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. First of all, you shouldn't be condemning people for their past. No way, right? Because by that standard, which one of us would be righteous? Thank you very much, right? None of us. But what's my point, right? So this person had a very loose, sexual liberated, history, and now you as their man, now you mind you, you chose to be with this individual. You chose to be her man, right? What sense does it make for you as that man to try to condemn this woman for all the things she did in times past? I mean, now you chose to be with her. Shouldn't you try to build this woman up? Shouldn't you try to actually lift this woman up? I mean, you chose to be with her. Did she make a mistake in times past? Sure. But you have the ability to build her up. But now what you do, right, in an argument, you start deflecting. You say, what about the time you did X? So now you bring up her sexual past. How is that fair? Think about what I'm telling you. How is that fair to the woman that you're gonna bring up her past? All you're gonna do is cause that woman to live in a constant state of condemnation. She's gonna live in a constant state of shame. And she's never ever gonna feel free enough to actually open up to you as her man, because all you're gonna keep doing is deflecting and attacking her past. I'm using man and woman, but this happens all the time in all forms of relationships. You see, again, in a healthy relationship, listen to what I'm actually telling you guys, right? In a healthy relationship, what we need to understand is that people have made mistakes. People are going to make mistakes, period. 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, because none of us are perfect, we all made mistakes in times past. But here's the key, right? In a healthy relationship, the every individual within that relationship should be trying to build one another up, right? Like, woman, you have the ability to build your man up. Man, you have the ability to build that woman up. You could support one another, encourage one another, right? What sense does it make for you to attack your partner, attack your friend? I don't care what the relationship is. What sense does it make somebody live in their past and constantly remind them of the mistakes they made? How are they ever going to grow? Can somebody put it in the chat for me? Because maybe I'm tripping. How is that individual going to grow? I would like to know, right? So here's a big one, right? Loving words as weapons. I would never hurt you on purpose. That's this middle one all the way at the bottom. I would never hurt you on purpose. Has anybody ever dealt with that? Has anybody ever dealt with that level of manipulation? You know what's so crazy? I always used to see this happen all the time in the movies, where you would see like this man who he physically abuses his woman, right? And this man, they say, "Oh, I didn't mean to do this to you. I love you." Mind you, this guy just pounding away, pounding away. She got black eyes, she got knots all over her face, but he's gonna say, "I love you." Really? And see, this is what's so painful about it all, because some of you have never actually experienced true love. Some of you never actually experienced true love. So now that this individual is beating you half to death, right? This person is literally pounding away at your face, but because he drops a word like love, you fall for that stupid shit. The same thing happens with the same thing happens the other way around with sense. You know, this girl is done. She done cheated on this man. I don't know how many times, but if this man's a sucker, if this man has a scarcity mindset, and truth be told, that scarcity mindset, I'm glad I actually touched on that. The scarcity mindset actually touches on the reason and the root reason as to why individuals stay in these toxic types of relationships. Listen to what I'm actually saying. Huh? A scarcity mindset is actually the reason why people stay in these toxic relationships. I don't care what that relationship is, whether that relationship is, amongst friends, within your job, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, if you want to use those terms. The reason why an individual would stay in such a toxic relationship is because they have a scarcity mindset. And what is a scarcity mindset? A scarcity mindset is pretty much saying that I don't believe I could do better. I don't believe I could find better. So because this is the best I'm ever gonna get, I'm gonna put up with the abuse. I'm gonna put up with the gaslighting. And all this person has to say is that, oh, I love you. Just like right here in the middle, all the way down. Love and words. You see, because some of you guys never actually experienced true love. Let's face it. How many people grew up in a broken household? It's unfortunate. You see, these things. Again, I'm not stating these things to minimize people, to make people feel bad, but this is just a reality. Some people grew up in broken homes. So especially for if the father wasn't home, do you know what that does to a woman? If they didn't grow up with a loving father in the household. So she'll find any Dick, Tom, and Harry. All that dude has to say is use the word "I love you," and because she never heard a man actually say that to her before, she's gonna fall in love with that dude in a heartbeat. But she don't know what true love is. She don't actually know what the love of an actual father is. The type of love where it has nothing to do with sex. The type of love that's based on responsibility and duty. You see, a father is gonna love his daughter, love his children, period, because because he has to, and his love is not predicated on coddling you or caressing you. No, a real father. I'm talking about the fathers that go out there into the world and bust their ass for their children, trying to provide a home for them, even though their child may go through their rebellious phase. When they become teenagers and start talking a whole bunch of shit, start clapping back, bumping their gums against their parents, and that father will still love you anyway. You see, that's a real love of a father. You have these boys today, though, that, they enter a relationship and at the sign of any type of turmoil, they quick to kick the traces because they didn't actually love you. Again, a man don't love you just because he dropped the word love. But again, this is the form of gaslighting that's used all the time. And again, it's because it's a scarcity mindset as opposed to the abundant mindset. You see, if a person genuinely believes they could do better, they will do better. How many of you are probably in a shitty ass job? You are in a shitty ass job, and your boss probably says something like this, right? Your boss knows you in a dead end job, and your boss might say, "Hey, if you pick up 6 extra shifts this month, you're gonna get you're gonna get a raise, right?" And here you are, you want to get a raise, so you bust your ass and you do 6 extra shifts in the month, and then guess what takes place? When the time comes for you to come to your boss and you say, "Hey man, may I please get that raise? I did 6 extra shifts like you told me," and they said, "What are you talking about? I never said you will get a raise. I said you may get a raise." Right? They shift the verbiage. And all of a sudden you're just like, what the hell? Nah, you said I was gonna get a raise. And now they hit you with, man, you should be happy anyway. After all, you getting more money. Yeah, I'm making more money because I work extra hours. I did 6 extra shifts. Man, okay, so what? You can leave, but where you gonna go? You see, they hit you with that. Where you gonna go? What job you know is gonna pay you better than this? Right? You see how they throw that at you? And because you have a scarcity mindset, like I said, you don't think you could do better. So you're gonna put up with that shitty ass job. You're gonna put up with that crummy ass job because you don't think you could do better. But a person with an abundant mindset, they're not gonna put up with that form of gaslighting. You see, a person that has an abundant mindset will not put up with somebody just because they say I love you, but they literally beating you in your face. They're not gonna stay in that toxic ass relationship. They're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. Right? I'm gonna actually touch on this last one. You said rewriting history. Look at what it says. You yelled at me for no reason. Man, how many of you guys dealt with that one? Have you ever been with a person in a relationship and they literally created things out of thin air to make you seem like you are some type of uh, like wicked evil person? Oh, but you told me that I was fat. Really? And mind you, in your mind, you probably like, where in the world did I ever tell that person that? You know what I'm saying? Oh, but you said that. I don't know. It's so crazy. Uh, you told me that I look that you told me that I yelled at your mom and it's some crazy shit like that, right? I know I'm stuttering right now because it's so crazy how these people they literally come up with things on the spot. That's what I'm saying. These people are psychotic. You see, even me trying to act like these people, it's hard for me to do it because I can't even think about coming up with a lie on the spot. But these people, they do it all the time. And they do it to gaslight you. They do it to manipulate you because they know that you are a genuinely nice individual. And all they got to make you do is question yourself by attacking your character, attacking your kindness. If they can make you believe that you said something hurtful, like you calling somebody fat, or you called me stupid, and you just like, damn, I actually said that. And now the moment you say sorry, right? They probably gonna put on the waterworks. They're gonna start crying, and now you hear, mind you, you legit you are addressing something that your partner did that genuinely offended you, and they hit you with something that you did not even do. And now, rather than you checking your partner, rather than you admonishing your partner, rather than you addressing the concern that you had, now they flip the script on you, and now it's all about you trying to concern yourself with their issue. That, mind you, they conjured up. It don't even exist because you never called them fat. You never called them stupid. You never actually yelled at them, like that example said, right? You never did this stuff. But they gaslight you into thinking that you actually did it. Also, what? They could flip the script on you. So now they have the upper hand. You see, so because all they really try to do is save their ass from getting chewed out because they know that they done you wrong. But if they could seem like the victim, you see, and this is what's so crazy about the gaslighting, right? Because I'm gonna go back. I want you guys to actually listen to what this one was saying again. I'm gonna go back to it, y'all, because it was actually deep, right? I'm gonna go to the third paragraph here. It says it works much better than you may think. Anyone is susceptible to gaslighting, and it is a common technique of abusers, dictators, narcissists, cult leaders. Now think about that, right? Why am I going back to that? Because think about those examples. They said it is common technique of abusers. You see, so could you imagine that the people that are actually abusing you, the people, they said dictators, the people that are actually controlling you, if they can somehow flip the script and make themselves seem like they are actually the victims, and here you are like, damn, yo, they the victim. Maybe I'm overreacting. That's, you see, the moment you start thinking that way, they got you exactly where they want you. Mind you, it doesn't matter that they were dominating over you your entire life. Mind you, it doesn't matter how much time they did you wrong. But if they could get you to feel sorry for them, if they could get you to believe that they are somehow the ones that are actually being attacked, when in actuality, they're the ones that are attacking, you lost the fight. And again, this is the question that I'm going to ask, right? How do you overcome such individuals? How do you actually win a battle against such individuals? I'm going to tell you exactly what you guys need to do. Again, it goes back to what I was saying. You're only going to stay in that type of relationship if you have a scarcity mindset. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. You're only going to stay in that type of relationship if you have a scarcity mindset. If you genuinely think you could do better for yourself, if you think you could get that better job, if you think you could find a better partner, if you think you could find, better friends, then guess what? You're not going to stay in that relationship. So in other words, the only remedy for dealing with such individuals who constantly gaslight you is that you have to leave. Listen, listen to what I'm actually telling y'all. The only way to overcome dealing with individuals who constantly gaslight you is that you have to leave. Now, let me say this with a grain of salt because, people will take this type of information and they're going to run with it and say, oh, but they told me that I'm supposed to leave calm the hell down. Look, listen to what I was saying in the beginning of the video, right? Gaslighting is so common, right? Gaslighting is so common in society that some people use it and they don't even know. They don't even know. I'm not talking about for the individuals that, they might engage in gaslighting here and there, you know what I'm saying? And they don't know about it. Yeah, you could address those persons, let them see themselves. How about you bring it up so that they become aware? Now, I'm not talking about those individuals. But if you're dealing with an individual that no matter how much proof you show them, no matter how much time you come with their concerns, they always try to flip the script. They make themselves the victim. This is a clear sign when you know you're dealing with a toxic individual. No matter what takes place, you have never heard this person say, I'm sorry. You never hear this person say, I apologize. You never hear this person say, I was wrong. That individual is one of those characteristics that we read in that third paragraph. Either abuser, dictator, narcissist, call leader. That's it right there. I'm letting you guys know. They're going to fall in one of those categories off rip. If they can say, I'm sorry. If they can say, and I'm talking about they never say, you never hear that come out of their mouth. They can never say, I'm sorry. They can never say, I apologize. They can never say, I was wrong. This is what I'm telling you. They never can say that I was wrong. I did you wrong. These individuals, they are gaslighters, and I'm telling you, the only remedy for dealing with such individuals is that you got to leave. You got to leave. Because if you do not do that, right? Check out. Matter of fact, let me go to that other one, right? I want you guys to actually read it. I want you guys to read it. I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read the whole thing again so that you guys are very well aware what's gonna take place to you if you stay in such a relationship. Gaslighting is a specific kind of emotional abuse that involves simultaneous attempts to convince a person of something untrue while also suggesting that they are wrong, crazy, or not seeing things clearly. Beyond normal persuasion, gaslighting is the intentional act of misleading someone and using manipulative or deceptive tactics to undermine their perception of reality. In relationships, gaslighting is usually a recurrent pattern of behavior aimed at what? Breaking down a person's ability to criticize, question, or challenge the other person's now and in the future, if you feel like you're being broken down, listen to what I'm telling y'all. If you feel like you are being broken down, like slowly, it's like you're dying inside. You're losing a piece of yourself every single time you're dealing with that individual. Again, this person is like almost like they zapping away your life force. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you ever been in those type of relationships. Like this person is literally tearing you down. And no matter how much time you address your concerns, like I said, this person will never say I'm sorry. They will never say I'm wrong. You will never hear them apologize. I'm telling you guys right now, if you stay in such a relationship, all you're going to do, you're actually going to die a lot sooner than you needed to. I'm telling you guys this right now. Because the nature, you see, if you guys ever heard of I believe the term is a symbiotic relationship. Just look it up, you guys. A symbiotic relationship. This is actually where they get the whole term symbiote, right? With from Spider-Man. But anyway, let's get back to the point. If you're dealing with a symbiotic relationship, matter of fact, or a parasitic relationship, right? A parasite, they need to live on the host. A parasite needs to live off the host, and they suck in the blood of the host. So now look what happens, right? While the parasite is just sucking the blood of the host is losing all its nutrients, so the host has no choice but to constantly indulge in more. They constantly got to eat more and more and more because they never get the sufficient amount of nutrients that they need because the parasite is just constantly sucking their blood. That's what's going to happen to you. This is why a lot of times these individuals that are in toxic relationships, a lot of times they resort to drugs, they resort to overeating, they resort to these things to try to compensate for the lack of joy that's constantly being taken away from them. There's always going to be joy that is taken away from them. So now to try to manufacture joy, they got to try to indulge in recreational drugs. They got to indulge in, overeating, right? Because they find a sense of joy in that. Mind you, that's not the answer. That's not, we all know addictions is not the answer. What these individuals need to do is develop an abundant mindset, and they need to leave these individuals. Now, this is where it gets tough because what if those individuals is your parents, they're your brothers and sisters, your aunties and uncles, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your right? What am I doing here? I'm naming quote unquote important people in your lives, right? I'm naming the individuals in your lives that it would be considered taboo to actually separate from those individuals. But I'm letting you know right now, you actually need to do so. Because if you don't separate those from those individuals, like I said, all they're doing is they're going to constantly tear you down. You see, when you find true friends, right? Almost like what the Bible would say, a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. You see, such an individual is not designed to constantly tear you down. A real friend is not going to constantly gaslight you and make you question your reality. If you address your concern, a real friend is actually going to hear you out and be like, damn, okay, let's see if we can resolve this together. That's what a real friend would do. You see, that's what a real friend would do. Again, many of you are in very toxic relationships, but because you have a scarcity mindset, you're going to stay. And it's sad. It's actually quite sad because you're never going to reach your full potential. And you're going to always be like, damn, man, why can't I just leave? And some of you probably know you want to leave. That's the sad part. Some of you probably already know that you should have been left. You probably are questioning yourself every day why you in that relationship. I'm gonna tell you why. You have a scarcity mindset. You have a scarcity mindset. But I didn't know that this video was gonna go on for this long. But please, you guys, if you like the video, press that like button, comment. But gaslighting is literally all around us. It's so crazy when you come to think about it, all the different ways. And me honestly, I just probably literally, I probably barely really touched the topic. This was like the tip of the iceberg. Real talk, y'all. This is probably literally just the tip of the iceberg. Because gaslighting, as I've showed you guys earlier in the video, really stems all the way back from Adam and Eve. The gaslighting goes all the way back from Adam and Eve. Right? Think about that. Even the devil used a form of gaslighting. Right? Oh, what's gonna happen if you eat that fruit? And Eve is saying, oh, the Most High said the moment we eat this fruit, we're gonna surely die. He said, you're not gonna die. So now Eve is probably looking at us like, what? Nah, he knows that if you eat that fruit, you're gonna be just like him. You're gonna be just like God, right? You see how he just totally re-rendered reality, came up with a whole total narrative that didn't ever exist. So now Eve is looking at it like, damn, maybe I'm not gonna die. And then she eats that fruit. You see, many of you probably ate that fruit. You bitten of that fruit of lies. Gaslighters lie all the damn time, and you guys just keep eating that fruit. Why? Because you got a scarcity mindset. You're too weak. You're too weak to actually stand on the courage of your convictions. If you see, this is the thing, right? If you genuinely believe in something, why can't you stand on it? Why do you need somebody to support you in that belief? You see, if you listen to what I'm actually saying, if you genuinely believe in something, why do you have such a herd and sheep-like mentality where you need other people to stand with you in order for you to stand on your belief? You see, that's a sign that deep down inside you actually are very weak-minded. Deep down inside, it's a sign that you are weak-minded. You need other individuals to stand with you in order for you to stand on the courage of your convictions. You see, again, to such an individual, a gaslighter would easily pick you out. A gaslighter would easily chew you up because you don't got no backbone. You're spineless. You're a jellyback. You don't got no real strength, no real cojones. You don't got it. It's easy for someone like that, for a gaslighter to just totally manipulate. You see, if you genuinely believe in something and nobody could deter you from what you truly believe, then a gaslighter cannot alter your reality. They can't make you believe in something that you don't genuinely believe. Going back to that situation I brought up about the virgin with those friends that are trying to peer pressure her to have sex, if that virgin was actually strong-minded enough to know, like, no, what, I don't want to spread my legs and sleep with this guy, even if they were hanging out with all these girls that's trying to peer pressure her to do so, if she had true strength, if she stood on the courage of her convictions, no matter how much peer pressure that would come her way, she would know that I'm not trying to open up my legs. I'm not trying to do that. But I'm gonna let you know right now, if that that quote unquote virgin, if she had the courage to actually do that, I'm telling you right now, most likely she's not gonna keep those friends. And good. It's probably best for her not to keep those friends. Right? Good. Because if they're gone, then it just shows you that maybe they were not your friends to begin with. Maybe they wasn't your friends to begin with. You see, because again, what's it to me to try to peer pressure someone to do something that they don't want to do? What's it to me to try to peer pressure somebody to have sex when they don't want to have sex, or to take a drug or any other type of substance when they don't want to take it, to wear a particular clothing, right? What's it to me? How does that benefit me? You see, this is what's so sick about these gaslighters. This is what's so sick about narcissists. You see, 'cause they get some they get off on actually manipulating people. They get off on actually directing people's lives. And my question is, why? What's it to them? What gratification do you get in controlling other people? You see, this is what I'm saying. Gaslighters are truly wicked. They really are. What satisfaction do gaslighters get by manipulating other people? Again, this is the question that you need to ask yourself. And that's why I'm saying if you can pinpoint a gaslighter, you need to stay clear from them. Again, I'm not talking about people that, they might engage in it here and there out of ignorance, right? I'm not talking about those individuals. I'm talking about people that you question them, they never can say I'm sorry. They never say I'm wrong. Those individuals, stay clear from them, y'all. They already letting you know who they are. They already letting you know who they are. A person that can never say they're wrong, come on, y'all. A person that never says I'm sorry, yeah, I'm gonna tell you how simple saying I'm sorry is. Sometimes you might not even be wrong. A person with just a kind heart, that person may not even be wrong, but just to keep peace, they might say I'm sorry. That's how easy saying sorry is. Why? Because if I say I apologize or I'm sorry, right? And let me say I apologize. If a person say I apologize, that doesn't make me weak. That doesn't make me weak. It doesn't take no power away from me by saying I apologize. It doesn't make. You see, this is what I always like to say, and I'm gonna land the plane by saying this, right? You see, some people in life, they are so concerned about being right. Listen to what I'm telling y'all. Some people in life, they are so concerned about being right. But to a true child of the King, all you should be concerned about is being righteous. You see, you could be right all day. You can be right all day, and your soul could go and burn in the eternal lake of fire. I'd rather be wrong and acknowledge that I'm wrong, but I know that because I'm sincerely seeking the Most High, that He will account me as righteous, because the Bible says the righteous fall down 7 times but get back up. If a righteous man fall down 7 times, and what does that falling down look like? I'm wrong. You might need to say I'm sorry. You might have to acknowledge that you effed up. That falling down may come in various forms, and I don't care. So long as my soul is gonna make it into the kingdom. But some people, they don't care about that. Some people are so concerned about being right, they will never say I'm sorry. They will never apologize a day in their life because it's beneath them. Those individuals are so narcissistic. Those individuals are such gaslighters. And I'm telling you right now, the only remedy for such individuals, if you see them in your life, you got to save yourself by leaving those individuals. Cause all they're gonna do is zap your life away. I'm telling you right now, y'all, don't align yourself with those individuals because they are literally out to kill you. And it's not going to be physical. It's going to be a slow, methodical death where you feeling like you've lost your complete will. And it's so damn sad. It's so damn sad. Anyway, y'all, gaslighters, gaslighting exists all around us. And you better not have a scarcity mindset or else you're going to find yourself stuck in those toxic relationships. You better take heed to the warning, develop an abundant mindset. And if you're in a toxic relationship with a gaslighter, you need to dip up out of there. Anyway, y'all, with that being said, Nick, over and out. The message sent. Jesus is king, y'all.